You are listening to a brand new episode of Case Closed Live. I'm your host, Professor C, and as usual, we have a lot to discuss. I was saving this episode in particular to discuss this. This happened a couple of months ago, and I haven't reflected on it in some time until some of our recent accomplishments. Obviously, the big one, getting Richie Branson to agree to record a track to raise awareness about Case Closed and the movement to revive it here in the States. Obviously, I was extremely excited when the word came out about that. I was surprised. I had sent him a message, and then a week later I had gotten a response, and to be honest, I had forgotten about it. So I was thrilled to get a response from him, and obviously I'm still very excited for what opportunities that, helps us out with. I mean, it presents a new set of opportunities if you're a Case Closed fan in the United States, obviously. So I want to reflect on something that happened back in late May, early June. I had posted a comment on our Facebook page for Safe Case Closed, which, by the way, if you are listening to this podcast and have not joined, I recommend you go like the page immediately, keep up with us and what we're doing. Now, here's what it was, and I will read this to you. I had to go back and find it, and in light of what's happened recently, I figured I'm going to call these people out. So if you don't want to hear any language or anything like that, I suggest you turn this podcast off or fast forward a few minutes, because I'm about to go off on some people here. So get ready. All right, now May 23rd, I had posted this. It was a comment. I had said, "I'm pissed and offended." I wrote that at the time because this was during the end of the Case Closed podcast, and this was also going into what we're doing now, obviously, with Case Closed Live. Like I said, in our fresh production and things of that nature. And I was upset and offended at the time, and we all get pissed and offended. That's true. But I went public about it, and I got reactions about it. There's a list of 20 comments here, right after I'd posted that. And so, yes, I had a moment where I was upset. I'd made it public. I probably shouldn't have. But here's the response that I got that pissed me off. I will not read these people's last names, but I will read their first names. This first one is Brody. And I had posted that I had decided to delay Case Closed Live for a bit, and because we weren't getting any questions, and I was desperately asking for questions, and that's what started to offend me, because I was not getting questions and things of that nature to do a show. And I was actually wanting to do a show, but like I said, I will not do a show. Case Closed Live, obviously, is a question show. Different from Case Closed Podcast. We don't discuss questions or anything of that nature generally in Case Closed Podcast. But here at Case Closed Live, that's what we do. And at the time, I didn't have questions. So yes, I was upset and I was offended. That's true. So I will scroll down here on this comment. I had wrote that not enough people had cared about what we were doing. So then someone here named Justin had wrote, "You're mad because not enough people care. What a joke." And then he said that my page was a joke. So, one of the only people that's successfully trying to successfully revive Case Closed in the United States, and I have a lot of likes on Facebook, and I have a lot of things that I try to do to make what I do here successful. And so I'm called a joke, and my page is called a joke by one person named Justin. And Brody starts in, and I just said, well, look, you can get off the page. Frankly, I don't care. If it's that offensive to somebody, then they don't belong here. So then someone named Kurt drops in, and Kurt makes the comment here that really does it for me, and it really pissed me off and offended me. This motherfucker says to me, "This YouTube channel doesn't accomplish anything. We gotta think bigger. Promote the show the same way you would if it was actually yours. Make a promo or even a music video with a popular song over a montage of shit. Let's spread the shit viral. Let's spread this shit viral. Quick clips of certain episodes that capture the reasons we watch it to begin with. I have a CD of the music for the show, and so many people ask me what it is, and that alone got them interested. Think bigger. I'd help put these videos together, but I don't have much spare time. Rant over. Ban me if you want, but I think you're going about this the wrong way. Well, Kurt, let me point this out to you. DBZ Hakusho actually made a crapload of promos for us. I mean a ton. He made AMVs for seasons 1 through 5, a closing AMV that was 10 minutes long, and he made about 2 or 3 separate ones that had a Chris Daughtry song and a Nickelback song. So I think we had some popular, songs going over our, AMVs. And he was a part of that, and he had made those videos, and we had supported, they were in support of what we did. So I think we did something big there. Now, as far as promoting the show with a promo, we released a promo talking about people coming to our channel and getting familiar with Case Closed. So didn't we already do that? Didn't we cover that? I'm trying to understand here. So Kurt obviously did not do the proper research into what this cause is actually about, because he would have already found that we had a ton of that stuff, but we just had a lot of help with it. I don't know how to do AMVs and all that stuff. That's not my deal. My deal is what I'm doing right now, talking into a microphone, raising your awareness about the show, Case Closed in America, and trying to provide something entertaining that you can listen to as a fan. And I think I've done my part. Obviously, getting Richie Branson to agree to do a song. Granted, I don't know when he'll drop it or let me know about it. I don't know how long it takes to write a song, and I'm not going to ask him. That's his deal, and I'm not going to rush him or anything. One thing I've learned in this movement, you cannot rush things. You have to be patient, and you have to take whatever opportunities come your way. But you also have to present your case in a very organized form. You can't just say, well, we should do this because I think that's right. No. You have to go with what is right, what fits the situation, and what the best course of action is, instead of using just because you like it, well, I'm going to do it. No. I still believe that a podcast like I'm doing right now is the best way to raise awareness about the show and to get people interested in the show. Now, apparently, Kurt doesn't think so. Oh, and then there's more of this. And so Brody comes in. Brody is another guy. He says, I'm with Kurt. So here's what I wrote. I'm doing what I can. I appreciate that you can do all these things. But as usual, people don't have time to do anything but tell me what I should be doing. Which is true. And I've heard it before. You should do more. You should do this. You should do that. It's like, you know what? I do enough as it is. How about we have somebody else jump in here and do it? We could work as a team. And that's what I was trying to convey. So Kurt writes, yo, I'll make time. I'll make the videos if you put them on your YouTube channel and help promote them. By the way, the grammar by Kurt is horrible. Go back to school, dumbass. Case Closed is way too good to let it die. And that's what he wrote. I said, if you make it and I think it's good, I'll upload it immediately. Granted, I was pissed when I wrote that, but I'm like, you know what? You want to talk a big game, then back it up. And after that, let's see, that comment was actually May 24th. I thought maybe some of this was in May 31st or something. I guess it doesn't matter. But it's May 24th. Him and Brody both liked my comment. Guess what? Hadn't heard from either of those motherfuckers since. So that's what I'm saying. I'll make things happen, and I'm going to continue to make things happen. But unless you have a better idea that you can put in place, don't come on my page and say that shit to me. And I know that, hey, and I know a lot of y'all might be saying, well, I never did that. I know a lot of you never did. I mean, I got 391 likes. I'm talking about at most 4 or 5 assholes out of that 391 that have pulled this shit on me. Most of you have been very supportive and really are, pushing me to go on. And I know that a lot of you really appreciate what we're doing because you write on Facebook and you put a lot of nice things. And to you guys that do that, I really appreciate it. I really do, because it's what keeps me going. But when I read a comment like that a few months ago, it really, at the time, it made me want to give up. But I didn't. And since I haven't given up, we got this new website, that's going on. If I had given up, Renzo wouldn't have had would have had a reason to make a site that now carries all of our podcasts. It's so much better than the old site. Granted, we still have the old site active, but this other one, the Save Case Closed WordPress site, it's like Save Case Closed 2.0. It's amazing. If I had stopped in May, we wouldn't have these opportunities. And I think it's great. So, the more that we keep knocking away at this, I think we're going to see more progress. Richie Branson doing a song, I'm trying to get people to tweet out about, Case Closed Toonami. See if we can maybe start a trend and kind of get that going, and maybe people can get that going. I've even thought about going to Neo Toonami and trying to form a partnership with them. However, I don't know anyone in that community that runs Neo Toonami. I don't know how open they would be to it. But I would love to talk to someone in Neo Toonami if they would be willing to do a straight up, run through of the first 130 episodes. I would love that. And that's really all that we could ask, and there's a lot of exposure there because they have a huge audience. If it can't come back on the real Toonami, I would love for it to come back on Neo Toonami. Just because they do so many good things with the shows that they already carry. I mean, it's amazing. I'm amazed at the quality. Now, I know it sounds like that I'm really, on what they're doing, but the time that they took before they launched, they really were working hard at what they were doing. So, if somebody knows or has a contact with them or something of that nature, I would love to talk to someone that is in charge of Neo Toonami to see if they would be open to maybe the first run of Case Closed, which I mean 1 to 130, which is what we received here in the U.S., obviously. And so that's what I would like to talk to them about. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to read the few questions that I have received from you guys. Just a few here. We have questions on the discussion page here that we had posted for questions for the Case Closed Live. It's in the Save Case Closed Forum.com site. Of course, the description of that is obviously there's a link to it in the description. So let's go down the list. Okay, well, this one was by Saru Madness, the guy who did BEP Plus. And if you haven't heard that, obviously, go listen to that. It's a informative podcast about, it kind of builds on what we're doing. He asked if can Renzo be a guest talking about the site as a promotion? I think that'd be cool. And so I had replied to that question already, and I had said that we hadn't discussed him being on the show. By the way, if Renzo actually wants to be on the podcast, I'd be fine with that, if he'd like to. We haven't discussed it. Me and him talk quite a bit about things, but it's not one of the things we discussed. If he obviously wanted to come on to the podcast, I'd be very open to it. Let's put it that way. Alright, next question, let's see. Okay. Because Season 6 isn't in English, I have not seen it yet. But in the movies, they have AI Hybra. I heard she appears in Season 6. Oh, by the way, this is by Chimp Spark. Could you tell me her background? How did she come into the show? Well, basically, about 6 episodes after, which we don't have dubbed, she is introduced. She apparently, if memory serves me correct, I haven't seen that episode in a while. Just ends up like passing out in front of Dr. Agassa's house because she's trying to find Jimmy. She goes to Jimmy's house and she's trying to look for him, for help, basically, and passes out in front of Agassa's house. And that's basically how her character's introduced. She took the drug. She took the same drug that Jimmy was forced to take, and turned into a kid, basically. I think you know that already, but I'm saying that that all had to kind of play out with her going to Jimmy's house and then kind of, feigning, and Dr. Agassa finding her. So that's basically how that develops, and then, of course, that's a 2-hour special where she's introduced, and a lot happens in that episode, but that's how she's introduced. And you think at first that she's a really, really bad, dark character that's there to maybe kill Jimmy or something like that. So it's a very scary deal at the beginning when she is introduced. Okay, now I am 1412 writes in and asks, if you could have anyone in the movement do a podcast together, who would you pick? Ooh, well, if they were doing their own show, which I would assume that's what you're asking, that's a hard one. I don't really hear a lot of people that want to do a podcast or come on to the podcast that I've got, so that's a hard one for me to peg. Of course, Spartan Omega 117, we did... we did a show together that, to me, is my favorite episode. If he did a podcast with somebody, that'd be pretty interesting. That's a hard one for me to say, though. I can't give you a definitive answer. I just can't. I've thought about this question actually for a while, and I just don't know. I think if he did a podcast with somebody in the movement that was interested in Case Closed, I think that'd be very entertaining, honestly. Because when he was on our show, he sounded, very good. He has a voice for it, I think. And I think he could do something. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's all the questions. I saw a couple more comments, and I just kind of had to quickly go through them, and there are no more questions. Obviously, you can post a question in the questions for Case Closed Live topic on the forums, or you can post a question to the Facebook page, and either of those spots, it will be answered, guaranteed. The last thing I wanted to finish up and talk about is All Kids Out of the Pool. A couple weeks ago, Renzo had the stream up, and it was basically, it was a test run. And on one of our Case Closed watch party nights on Saturday, he had movie 6 showing. So we had Phantom of Baker Street on a watch party night, so people all over could see Phantom of Baker Street. And for those who watched, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching part of it and talking and chatting to people over there. It was fun, a great night and everything. To celebrate Case Closed watch parties, like I say, every Saturday is a Case Closed watch party. So whether I post about it or not, it's understood. That's the way it is. It was great. He had a 2-week run of it. All 6 movies were shown, several promos and bumps that you can expect to hopefully see in the final product. All Kids Out of the Pool, though, has been delayed. It's on hiatus right now. I don't know exactly when it will come back, for sure. And I don't think that asking Renzo about it all the time is a good idea. I think these things take time to develop. All Kids Out of the Pool is our biggest partner, so when I talk about them, I'm very mindful of what I'm saying. It was one of our first partners, and it's our biggest partner. They carry our promo. And so seeing them return obviously is beneficial for both of us. And I would love to see them return, and I hope someday it does return soon. But, these things take time. Getting shows together and putting a stream and things of that nature, costs money, costs space. It takes time. These things take time to develop. So I want everyone in the community to be mindful of that. Obviously, we have so many people that love All Kids Out of the Pool, including myself. I love going over and watching Space Ghost and Sea Lab and, Cartoon Planet, shows like that. That I just overall enjoy watching, Aqua Teen Hunger Force and things of that nature. Great shows to watch that a lot of people who enjoyed the classic Adult Swim can appreciate and enjoy watching. So, if you miss the show, obviously hit them up on the Facebook page at AKOTP. We'll have a link to it. And, get on there, wait for news about it. Renzo has it on hiatus right now. It's not a dead issue, but it has been pushed back, and things do need to develop for it. So we do want to talk about them. That's very important to talk about them and kind of shed some light on what's happening, because I know there are people that are concerned and wondering, well, what's going on? Is it ever coming back? It's on hiatus. It's not a dead issue, and that's where it's at. But the next episode, like I said, we are going to move back in the direction of questions. More questions. I know I'll have a lot more for the next episode as far as questions, but I had to come in today and address what had happened a few months ago because it had been bothering me, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I know some of you had seen it a few months ago about the comments and the bad comments, nasty comments, things of that nature. And so I wanted to send the message, look, I'm doing the best I can here. If somebody has a better way to do it, then put it in place, but don't tell me that I need to do it, because this is me. This is as good as it gets for me. I'll continue to send messages out and try to make some things happen as far as deals and things of that nature. I mean, shoot, I send a message to Richie Branson, and guess what? We have a track that's in production for Case Closed. So I will continue to make things happen as much as I can. I just need you guys to always just keep supporting me the way you have. I mean, that's all I can ask. And you've all been good to me, and most of you have been good to me anyway, and I appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you guys later. Enjoy your time this weekend and before the school year starts for a lot of us. And, let's keep the movement going. Looking forward to it. I'll talk to you guys later on Case Closed Live. Take care, everybody.